Welcome everybody to Taste Different in Gaming News. What's in the news today? Sega's making Grand Theft Auto. Oh, sorry. It just cost $800 million. May not be Grand Theft Auto. So, Sega is working on a super game. Not to be confused with regular, but this is super, like gasoline. With a budget expected to be over $800 million. I know what you're thinking. Sega got $800 million? Yeah, I was thinking that too. Sega has been busy releasing many games over the last few years. Sonic Frontiers, which was not bad. Don't let anybody fool you. It was not bad at all. Just different. Being the Sonic is their biggest one in their franchise, I think, along with Sonic Superstars. And recently, Sega announced Sonic Dream Team, an exclusive 3D platformer for the Apple Arcade. Yeah, screw that. That ain't a game. Sega revealed that they are planning to create multiple cutting-edge AAA titles that push boundaries of traditional gaming experiences. A document from Sega Sammy revealed the company is working on its first, I got a dog in the background, on its first super game that is planned to be released by March 2026, which is expected a budget of $800 million. Sega million. The document says that the super game would be a game that stands a head and shoulders above your normal games. Not their normal games, above your normal games. So whatever the hell that means. As the name implies, a super game involves a concept of a game that stands head and shoulders above normal games. That is the definition of super games. Don't Google it. I did it for you. No. So in this article, it says Sega has $800 million. That's the shocker one. Two, a $800 million Sega game. Now, I don't know what Sonic Frontiers cost, but that was probably one of the prettiest Sega games I have ever seen. I'll give them there. And it played really well for something new and different. Technically, it's not new because it's Sonic, but the whole world around Sonic was completely new for Sonic. So I'm kind of surprised by this. And I'm not going to lie. I'm voting for Seaman 2. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Seaman 2, I think he would charge about $800 million. Nick, what do you think, bud? What do you think $800 million is going to get Sega?
That's a lot of rings.
That's a lot of rings.
That's a lot of rings. And from Sega, probably nothing great. Sorry, Sega. I mean, Sonic Frontiers was a good game. I enjoyed Frontiers. But Sega's really hit and miss with their stuff. More miss than they are hit. So I don't care if you spend $800, $900, or $1 billion. It still doesn't make it a good game. And that goes for everybody, right? Not just Sega. That goes for any company. It doesn't matter what you call it. A super game, a mega game, a super mega game. You want to spend $800 million, $900 million, $1 billion, $5 billion, $10 billion, $20 billion, $1 trillion. It doesn't matter. Because if the game sucks, it doesn't matter how much you spent on it. A turd is still a turd. So if it ends up being a turd, it's an $800 million turd. Right? I mean, some of the greatest games, some of the best games that I've played, especially here in the last few years, have been games that maybe didn't even have $1 million budget. And, some games did, right? So there's a mixture. But again, I don't know. I hate that companies, especially like Sega or whoever, it almost feels like the more money they spend, they feel like it's going to be a better game, right? It's that concept of I spend more money, it's just a better thing, but not necessarily, not in every case, right? I mean, there's been movies before that had like outrageous budgets and they ended up being outrageous turds, right? I mean, Avatar had a huge budget. Avatar was great in 3D, But if you ever watched Avatar in 2D, it's not that great of a movie. Sorry. I'm talking about the original one. It was awesome in 3D, but in 2D, I'm like, is this the same movie? Like, this movie kind of, this ain't that great. This kind of sucks. But I haven't seen Way of the Water, but I really don't care to see Way of the Water or whatever the hell it's called.
I like it.
What, Way of the Water?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. It might be good. I haven't watched it. I mean, the problem I have with, and now you're gonna get, I don't want to get on a tangent about Avatar. I just think Avatar waited way too long to put a sequel out. Like, for me, by the time Avatar 2 came out, I was Avatar don't care at this point, right? Like, if you would have came out a few years after the first one, I'd been like, okay, cool, I want to see your second one. But it's been like, 20 years since the first one, or however long it's been, and now I'm like, I don't give a crap about Avatar anymore. You've waited too long. But I think that movie did pretty well box office wise. But anywho, they're making like 20 others, and then Ubisoft's making a game. So, but anywho, hopefully it turns out cool. I don't know what they mean by super beyond your expectations or whatever it was to make it a super game. I mean, what makes it a super game? I don't know. That it costs a lot of money? Is that what makes it a super game? I mean, what are they going to put in it that makes it beyond what can be done now, right? Like that they're going to put something in there that no one else has thought of because they have the budget for, and it's just going to be like, oh my God, this is extraordinary.
Seaman 2. It's got to be.
Because it's coming out in 2026, which means it's going to be an Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5 title, right? Now, could it just be coming to PlayStation or just to Xbox or just to PC? Possibly. We don't know it, but coming from Sega, I would suspect that it's going to come to all consoles. If they're going to spend $800 million, they don't want to just put it on one thing. So no matter what superness you put to it, it still has to be, it's still limited to what the consoles, the devices out there today can do, right? Because we're not going to get a new Xbox and a new PlayStation by 2026. We'll still have the same ones. So, how super could it be? Like, what is it going to do that's going to revolutionize we went from AA games to AAA games, and now we have a new category called super games. It's like, I don't know. AAA games don't really mean much today like they used to, right? A developer, before, when they said a developer was making a AAA game, we were like, oh, this is going to be nice. This is going to be something. Now a developer makes a AAA game, we're like, oh, this is probably going to suck. This is probably going to be a crappy game. And more likely they are.
It's going to have a patch bigger than the goddamn game.
Right. It's going to have a budget out of this world, but the game kind of, mediocre. Right. So it's like, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Sega's doing. Do something better with your money, Sega.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, just the wording that they used as super game. I mean, okay, what makes this game? And one, your definition of normal game. What is the definition of a normal game? Because you have criteria of game development. You have AAA, you have indie, okay, and you have crap. Sorry, most everybody out there. But now you have this super, which I agree, Nick. What does that entail? I mean, is it going to come? What I would consider super would be the mech game that came out on Xbox with the controller. That to me, I would have considered a super game because it did do things differently. It took a whole new twist on the mech genre. Even if you loved or hated the game, it did something completely new and different, and it gave you a in-depth experience of a game that really not too many games have ever done.
Yeah, Steel Battalion, right?
Steel Battalion, yes.
Yeah.
So
and it also wasted all that money because it didn't do very well.
no, it
So
didn't.
yes, it did revolution. It did give you a cool controller with a cool idea, but again, it bombed.
And but that's, I mean, you're exactly right. That's what 800 million can give you. It could give you something really cool and badass. You can put it in your closet and watch it waste away. So, Sega, I don't really think of Sega that often. I just don't. I have my Dreamcast baby back here. That was the last time I loved Sega, and still love Sega for it. But they have really lacked and slacked off. Now they do a lot more producing and things like that now than development.
Yeah, they do a lot more publishing.
Publishing,
nowadays.
excuse me, not producing. It's not porn. Publishing. Than development anymore, and it's just fine. But you got to watch your words when you say $800 million super game. Unless you're making a Dreamcast 2, shut up. It's really about it. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to say a super game that is heads and shoulders above normal games. I don't know what they consider a normal game. One that's broken, takes 40 patches to be able to play right. 6 months of apologies. Is that a normal game now? Because that's about what it feels like. So it's I don't know. They just need to watch it, because normally when people brag like this, it doesn't work out well. It really doesn't. So, I mean, development costs have gone up tremendously. I believe the last estimate on GTA 6 was like $1 billion. They were looking at like $1 billion. Of course, that rumor's been off and on for 50 years now, because that's how long it takes to make GTA 6. I don't see Sega putting in that kind of time and money into a game like GTA 6 is. Because that's going to be a massive game, because the last one was a massive game. I mean, far as scope, size, voice acting, all that, I don't see Sega doing anything in that realm of any kind of game development. So I don't know what, and is it going to be is this super game going to be a new IP? Is it going to be Seaman 2? Because then I might enjoy it, but it's probably not. It's probably going to be an existing IP. It'll probably be, a new Tales game or some crap. Tales the Fox, not Tales of all the good games. So there's no telling what they're going to do with it. So, but if it is a Sonic game and then they're putting $800 million into it, shit, I don't even know what to say about that.
You know what it probably is? Altered Beast.
Oh, now. I forgot about Altered Beast.
$800 million Altered Beast game.
Yes, but it comes with a loincloth that fit up to 4 players. Now, an Altered Beast game, a new Altered Beast with today's graphics and storytelling, could be really cool. I don't see Sega putting $800 million into something like that, though. I really wonder if there is some sort of component piece that may be coming with said game. Like a new fishing rod.
Yeah. Well, no, it's
a
guy that goes, "Rise from your grave," and then a tombstone comes out of the ground and lightning hits him, and then your guy pops out.
I'm good.
Just like an Altered Beast. And that's how it's going to start. You get that, though. You get that. You get the tombstone, the guy, and the lightning.
But do I have to take it outside and wait for?
No, it works
lightning?
in the house.
Well, for $800 million, it better. But no, I cannot fathom Sega making any type of game that would cost that much, or that much development, or that because it would have to be in my mind. I'm not a developer, but in my mind, you spend $800 million. That's got to be a huge game. I mean, huge.
It could be something like
Maybe
Shenmue 4 or something like that.
That's kind of what I was thinking. But Shenmue 3 was PlayStation exclusive, right?
Yeah.
I
don't think Shenmue 3 was.
Yeah, I don't think it's sold.
It didn't sell very well. I don't think. And plus it was I want to say Shenmue 3 wasn't it a Kickstarter game?
It was announced as a Kickstarter, and then it was partner Kickstartered with Sony, $1 billion corporation.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
right.
that pissed a lot of people off, and they're like,
it's on Steam as well. The only thing it wasn't on was Xbox and Switch.
And I wouldn't mind playing it because I love Shenmue 1 and 2. The problem is it's old. And what I understand about 3 is it's still old. The voice acting is bad and all that. The last I heard about it, but I've totally forgotten about that game for so long now. But a Shenmue style, you've 3?
I have 3. I just never played it.
Okay. I was like, any of them? But yeah.
I played the first 2, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, then that's all you need. Because back then, a matter of fact, if I remember right, that was kind of announced as a huge, costly game.
Yeah,
back
that's
then.
what I was saying. That's what I was thinking.
That's a good quote.
That's what I was thinking, because that was at the time for the Dreamcast. That was like the most expensive game, right, being developed at the time.
When
and even though Shenmue was a cool game and it did a lot for the 3D open world genre, it didn't do great overall.
I think it hit more culty.
Yes, exactly. It got a cult following more than anything, right?
Because I love the game.
Yeah, I did too.
It was because of the uniqueness of it, because there was really nothing like it at that time. Full voice acting and everything like that. Granted, it sounded like it was voice acted by, somebody's neighbor kid. It was still a really interesting game, and it had a really good story. It had kind of a traditional, generic story for that time, but at that time, traditional and generic was brand new. So, so a new Shenmue could be cool, except for they have to do something with the voice acting. Plain and simple.
Yeah, well, Shenmue 3 wasn't developed or published by Sega, so
no, that was the owner of the IP all by himself, because he just
unless
leased
he's
it
partnered back with Sega to make an $800. I mean, in Shenmue 4, you are Shenmue.
Yeah,
they will send a bunch of guys to come beat you up
and murder your family,
and you're on a revenge story.
Don't get the DLC though. Your dog is fucked. Sorry about the language, but it's a really weird thing to hear Sega have 800 million, spending it on a game. It really is. Now Sega is still a big corporation, surprisingly. So we're just got to see what they do. I think they're saying 2026. That's a little over 2 years away. So depending on when in 2026, obviously. So we'll just have to wait and see. But, they got us talking about it. So, they're getting what they want, a little word of mouth. So maybe we'll get something at the Game Awards, Dreamcast 2 with Seaman 2 and Shenmue 4 included. See Shenmue.
Shenmue Seaman.
Shenmue Seaman.
Shenmue Seaman
comes with a scratch and sniff comic.
Just for you.
Do you got anything else before we get too gross?
No, I mean, Sega does the Persona and Yakuza games, so maybe they're doing something with that for that amount of money. I don't know.
Yakuza Seaman.
I mean, Hopefully it's a brand new project, a brand new IP.
That's what I want. I want something that's a little out of Sega's realm.
Right.
You know, of what we expect from them. Because when I read it, I see Sonic. You know, I can see the Yakuza character. And, oh God, it's a Yakuza kart racing. You know, or some crap like that. But you know, we're just gonna have to wait and see what $800 million get you.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows?
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for listening, and let us know what you think. Does Sega have $800 million? Did they borrow it from Elon Musk? Let us know. Also, let us know what kind of IP you would like to see from them. What IPs you love from it. Do you like Seaman and Shenmue? Let us know that too. Don't forget to hit those notifications, hit that subscription button, and all the good things that come with us. And we'll see you next time. See ya.